Hey there, happy Wednesday. Thank you so much for joining me here tonight. We are continuing on the Ponte Vecchio block for the Aurifil block of the month, the quilt project we are working on. And we got everything cut out yesterday, so I think we'll actually be able to finish it today. We will sew the whole thing together. There's lots of little parts, so we'll get going here. But yeah, I think we can finish. We'll just stay until we're done, most likely tonight. So thanks for joining me here. My name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we make cute embroidery kits for the beginning crafter. And I'm here every weeknight at 8:30 p.m. Central Time, and it's a time that we can relax and craft together. So I'm here for about an hour, and I work on projects from beginning to end so you can be part of the whole process along the way. So this week we are working on the Aurifil block of the month, and again, it's the Ponte Vecchio block right there, and we picked out all our fabric yesterday and cut it all up. It's all laid out here. All we have to do is go row by row and sew this thing together. I think it's going to be nice and easy. So sewing and pressing tonight. So thank you guys again for joining me. Let's get going. All right, here we are. This is where we got yesterday. We got all of our pieces cut out. And before I get, hold on here. Oh yeah, before I get going on this today, I wanted to congratulate Valeria for she won the koala zipper pouch. We did a random number generator, and she came up, and so she is the winner of that. If I see her pop on YouTube, she's usually over there. I will let her know there as well. But congrats to her. So we sent that out today, and the quilt is also getting sent out today as well. So koala quilt is officially done, you guys. All right, so here we are. I read through the instructions here, and basically all we do is go top to bottom and just sew it row by row. So we'll sew this to this, and then we'll sew it to this, and then we just take pit stops for these rows that have a lot going on. So once we get to here, we'll sew all these pieces and then just kind of keep going. So it's going to start out pretty easy. I'm going to just let it sit here. There was mention in the instructions that you might want to label these. If I was stopping right now, I would definitely label, because I would get all confused. But since we are on our surface here, and I'm hoping none of these move, we should be good to go. So I'm going to start off by sewing these two layers together, and we'll just get going. You know, you could clip these. I'm wondering if I should add little clips. I think I'm going to. Now, typically on straight rows like this, I wouldn't clip it, but I am dealing with some different types of fabric. Like this gray is pretty stretchy, and these are longer strips. These are the 12.5-inch lengths, and they can flop around because they're pretty big. I'm typically sewing much smaller pieces than this, so I'm just gonna make sure the sides are matched, and I'm gonna just plop one in the middle as well. So if it seems like it's stretching or anything, we can kind of ease it as we go here. But all right, we are ready to go. Our first piece here. There we are. Okay. Oh, it looks like we don't have a leader on here, so I'm going to start with a leader. All right. Oops, I have my little fabric in there. Well, let me wish everyone now a happy Thanksgiving. I will not be here Thursday or Friday, so that's one of the reasons I want to get this guy done tonight. I think I'm gonna, Marie's asking about the winner of the quilt. I think I'm gonna leave that anonymous. If they want to come on and say who they are, then that's fine. But for now, I'm gonna leave it anonymous. But yeah, I'm very excited to send it to them, and it's gonna go live in a nice home, I'm hoping. So see, this is kind of stretching quite a bit, so I'm just gonna have to pay attention to this gray. It just doesn't always want to play nice. All right, so we're gonna take this off the machine. This is gonna be, we're always gonna be just, instead of like chain piecing another thing onto this, we'll just be taking them off one by one, I think, through this process tonight. I think that's fine though. So I'm actually going to go ahead right away. Before pressing this, I'm going to grab the next piece and sew it on. And you know what? I think I'm not going to clip this time. Let's see if we can do without clipping. So this is that next piece. And we'll see how this goes. And then we will press. We'll press all three of these. So the instructions is to press every seam open, so we'll do that. So I'm just going to kind of match up these ends. There we go. Okay, get some more leaders. All right, let's give it a press now. Okay, so these are the top three pieces from here. I'm going to actually scooch this all over. Ooh, it's starting to look cute. It's already looking fun. All right, so we need to press these seams open. So I'm going to actually press them to one side first, and then we'll just press them the opposite direction, and that'll make the stitches stand up straight, and then we will press them flat and open. And then we'll set it aside, because then we'll sew all of these little guys together before sewing it to here. Okay, I think we're heated up enough. Might need to heat up a little longer. You know what? I think, why don't we let this heat up, and I'm going to just go ahead and sew these. So this one I'm going to chain piece. I'm going to sew these two pieces together, then these two, then these two. We'll have one more to do. But then I'll take them off the machine as I go and start sewing them together. So, all right, let's start with these two. And then we'll press all at once. All right, so this is, I'm sewing them in the same order that I have up top. So this is 1 and 2. I just got to remember the order of things. This is 3 and 4. Look how shiny that is. That's a fun fabric. Okay, this is 5 and 6. All right, we have one more piece, but right now we can sew the first and second rows together. All right, this is the first one. So that, man, when I start sewing, like I start lined up, but I think this top, this squishy dark fabric kind of shifts a little bit as I sew, so I keep shifting it in one direction, which is annoying. But all right, these guys go together. All right, now we can sew the last piece onto this group. Oh, that's a good question, Rebecca. Rebecca says, is it time for an oiling yet? It definitely is. I was going to oil it after the last project, but now it's like the end of November already, so I think I'm a month behind on oiling it, actually. So, might have to do that this weekend or something. 1, 2, 5. All right, so I got to take this off the machine, and then we can sew our last row together, our last grouping. Okay, open like that, and that guy goes here. We are getting this done speedily, I think. All right. I need a liter. I thought you needed a little budge. There we go. Okay, let's snip those off, and that is our next little row ready to go here. So that would go right there, but let's press these first. So I'm going to press these, then I'll press all these seams, and then we can sew the next 3 rows together. Gosh, we're almost down to the triangle part of this. We are going to get this done quick. Oh, Marie says the sound of your machine is so soothing. I love it. Me too. Like these old machines, they just sound hefty. Like they just, you know, a motor is running them. All right, let's press this seam open. You know what? I think I'm going to hit it from the front first, though, just to make sure that I did get all of these pressed without any extra little kind of fold. Like I didn't want to accidentally press a tiny fold in here. I wanted to make sure that I got all of my fabric's worth here. Ugh, it's looking pretty. All right, now I'll shimmy these back up in this direction. That just lifts them up so they're taller, and that makes it, I think, a little easier to press open. We'll do them one at a time. I'm not sure how well this gray fabric likes being pressed, so we'll see how this goes. Woo, it's going to be tight in here with that fabric. Since it's a 1-inch piece of fabric, these 2 1/4-inch seam allowances are going to basically touch in the middle here. Actually, it seems like this gold fabric is the one that doesn't want to press very well. Let's flip that over and make sure that they're still open, and I will give that one more good press. Right at the end there. All right, looking good. Let's set this aside. It can cool a little bit. And same thing now with these guys. I'm going to press them all to one side, and then I'll probably flip them over just to make sure I didn't get any weird folds in, like folds right at the seams. And then we'll flip it back around and press each one of these open. It's looking pretty. I guess I didn't really pay attention to which was up and down. I think this light gray was down, but we can see what we like, what looks better, really, before sewing it. All right. Now let's just press the seams in the opposite direction to make them kind of stand upright. There we go. And we'll press them all open. Okay, squish. I'm glad we're done with the cutting. Cutting and measuring. You know what? Maybe it's not even the cutting. There is some fear in cutting, but maybe it's the measuring that I don't like. Yeah, I don't like cutting either. It's the combo of the both. At the office, though, when we're cutting all the muslin for the kits, we have one of those mechanical rotary cutters. So it's got a motor, you plug it in, and man, that thing's the coolest toy ever. So that we can cut through an inch of fabric like this tall, and it just goes, and it has wheels on it, so you can push it with your finger across, really. It doesn't hurt your back or your shoulders or anything. It's kind of the best thing ever. I love that. I don't know how accurate it would be if I tried to do like really accurate strips like this, though. Okay, we're looking good here. So now this one I might pin, because I'm already seeing if I like pull it, I'm maybe like a little less than a 1/4 inch too long, which makes me think I need to make my seam allowances a little bit bigger, because then it would be a little bit less. But I'm going to try and just kind of center it within here, because I don't think it matters if I trim off a little bit of these when I'm done. So instead of trying to make it fit by like pulling and stuff, I'm just going to throw it in the middle. That's looking pretty good. Let's put some clips in here. And we'll sew this piece on, and then I'll also sew this one on right after. I will probably have to clip again. And then we'll do our pressing, and after that, we are in the realm of doing all these little triangles, like the triangle corners for all of those. So we'll be past the easy part. I mean, that's pretty easy too, but we're one level up in complicated from here. All right, let's start with this. Out of here. Sewing down the seams while they're open like this on a small piece like this will help hold them open. All right, I think that those clips were a good move. Nothing seemed to really move. All right, and I guess we need another leader. And I think, yeah, let's clip this. Actually, we could maybe press it first. Yeah. I'm going to try and group my pressings together. Let's just flip this guy up. And again, I'll just try and center it a little bit. I think I might want to sew it with this fabric up. clips. I'm sewing it with this piece up because then I can see these seam allowances. The other side doesn't have any seam allowances, so this will be easier just to make sure I'm sewing them with them open and they don't slip on me. All right. I like how these have they have a flat side. The flat side is down, so I can just push straight down and shimmy them off. That's convenient. I like that. Shoop. All right, get a leader ready. Man, I'm surprised at how many of these half square triangle units I have. And this was a great idea. Someone had to use them as I sew here. That's been great, because I had a lot more than I thought. Definitely lasting a long time here. And I'll be able to sew some of these into blocks already. All right, let's see what we got. It's coming together. Cute. Cute. So this is basically the top of the bridge. All we have left is kind of the pillars that are in the water. So all right, let's press the one side, and we will ultimately press these open again. Basically every seam in this in the instructions, they have it pressed open. Marie, I'm the same way. Marie says, I love the clips, those Wonder clips. I hardly use pins anymore. Yeah, the only time I use pins now is when I have to pin something like in the middle of a shape, like an applique piece or something like that. But for anything on the edge, I almost always do the Wonder clips. Alright, I'm going to just press these in the other direction quick, just so they stand up. I'm also kind of pressing these again. They don't want to stay flat. Okay, let's do these one at a time again. I find it's working with me pressing the one that's closest to me open, and then doing the one further away, because I can go over the open one a second time. Although, like I said, this gold fabric, it's not having it. It does not want to bend. There, I'm getting that first one again while I do the second one. Oop, almost didn't get it. Well, I think that's probably the best that's going to get. And I closed this one up again. Actually, it's just that gold. That gold doesn't want to stay flat. All right, let's see if I can flip this over. Give it a little press so that all these are flat still. Or they all stay open, like that one flipped shut. Come on. There we go. All right, one more press, and ooh, they just really don't want to stay open. But one more press, and we'll set this aside, and we will work on these pillars that have the triangle units. yeah, it's kind of poofing up off of the ground because those gold ones don't want to stay flat, so they keep trying to like push the piece up. But all right, we're getting there. So that's going to be set aside. We'll just deal with that up there for now. And now is time for these little triangle pieces. So I'm going to just kind of separate these units. I do want these to stay where they are because I like where they are. So we're going to need a little straight edge. I have this little guy, this little ruler that will work, and a pencil here. I think I'm going to go on this surface so I don't go on my table too. So I'm going to just flip these around. So I do want this piece to be in the upper quadrant. So we'll actually end up getting rid of this piece altogether. That's going to be more important here where I want this light piece up here, not the dark piece. So I got to think about it as I'm going to actually flip it in the opposite direction. So if this is a diagonal that I'm going to sew, I'm going to flip it kind of along that diagonal, and that's where I'm going to sew. And then when I flip it back, then it'll be that correct light side. So see, I started here. I'm going to flip it like that, and then we'll sew on that diagonal. But first, I'm going to draw. Oh, so that's not going to work. I'm going to draw on that diagonal, and we are going to actually sew on that diagonal as well. You know, sometimes when we've been doing this, we've been sewing, you know, a 1/4 inch away from the diagonal, but in this case, we want to be right on it. Okay, so we are going to clip that right there, and I'm going to sew right on that diagonal. So, and we're going to repeat that same process, but we got to just be aware because our diagonals are going to shift. Like, you know, since this is in the upper left corner, our diagonal is going to be here. This one's going to be here, and this one's going to be this way. So we're kind of going back and forth here. So I'm just going to do this one at a time. Well, you know what? Why don't we do them all at once here? So this one's ready to go. Now this one again, let's flip like that. So this is our diagonal. Okay, like so. Now this one I'll flip like that. This might be a little hard to see. This is a darker on the back. Did I want that side up? I think I might have wanted... Which side did I want up? I suppose it doesn't really matter. We'll go with that side. Okay, and one last one. There. These guys are just going to hang out. We're not going to do anything with them right now. But right now I'm going to sew along each of these lines, right on top of the line. Okay, so these are easy to sew when you have it on a long edge like this. It looks like they'll all be like that. So you can pick your direction, this way or this way. Either will work, but we're going right on that line. If anything, you want to err on being a little towards the outside piece, not the inside piece of the line. So if you're not going just right on top, just a tish, like a hair, to this side. But, oop, geez, I'm moving around everywhere. But either or, we're just trying to aim for that line. Okay, I'm going to just go hop in to this one. This one's going to be hanging out there, so hopefully, you know what? Why don't I clip it? I don't want that to fall on me. Let's do this one first. We'll come back to this one after we sew the next piece. Okay, let's grab this piece, and then I'll cut this one off and do that one again. Man, this is going even faster than I thought to do this block, so this is great. A nice 2-day block. This could easily be a 1-day block. It's just all that cutting. All right, I'm going to set this aside. This is our first piece. Now this is our second piece, but I got to do that other corner. I'm just kitty scratching it. So this is what I call kitty scratching, and why I'm doing that is if I don't have something, like this piece, top piece, isn't quite lined up with that edge, but it's too, like if I take it up and try and place it again, I'm never going to place it just perfectly. So instead, I call it kitty scratching. You're just going to kind of nudge the top. You're just literally scratching the top, and it's just going to shift your top piece over. So let's do that again. So even there, you know, so I have a little gap there. I'm going to just scratch it over a little bit. And now it's lined up. I call it kitty scratching because it's like if you were scratching, you know, the top of a kitty's head or his little chin or something. So you're scratching the kitty cat. Okay, and snip. So here is, that was our left side, and here's our middle, and we need to take it off. Let's grab a leader. Nope, nope. Hold on. Okay, these guys aren't going together. Weird. Why is this totally backwards? Oh, you know, this is like I'm sewing it upward. Oh, I might be totally messing these blocks up. I should be sewing them on one side. I haven't really been paying attention, but I'm going to have some vertical strips and some horizontal strips here. Ugh, I'm going to have to go through my stack and see how that's going to go. Well, that's the first time I noticed that. Always something. All right, at least I caught that now. All right, so these are our triangle pieces. You know, they don't look like triangles yet, but we are going to press them up like so. And there we go. And then we'll actually snip off all this excess. This will actually turn into just like a normal 1/4 inch seam allowance. Now, a lot of people will do this cutting first and then press, but I like pressing it first because then I can use the piece that still exists because we haven't cut off yet. We can use it as a guide. So I can align this edge and this edge with those triangle, the edge of the rectangle there, and we're going to have a more accurate piece then. There we go. And then now I can open it up and snip it. And you can use a rotary cutter. I just use a scissors. So you just got to make sure to fold this back because that's our piece that we want there. We don't want to accidentally cut that. And now this, we can just cut about 1/4 inch from the edge. It doesn't really matter all that much. Even if you forget, it'll be fine. You'll just have a couple thicker pieces of fabric there. But there we go. Then we can push it back. And that's that. So this is our first piece. So we'll do the same thing with these guys. That's great. Jill says, love that you said a tish. My daughter and I say that all the time, and I know exactly how much you mean when you say it. That's awesome. Yep. Just a tish. All right, there, that side, and I'm using those edges of the shape as my guide again. Ooh, wow. That one doesn't want to press. It's funny, this lighter color area pressed fine, but the darker color wants to flop open. All right, let's snip these. So I'm opening it up, snipping 1/4 inch or so away from the seam. You can save those little triangles and sew them together if you want, or it'll just be scrap. It's coming together. Last one. Okay. It's easier to kind of just finger press it first or fold it and match the thing without holding an iron at the same time. There, now I can grab the iron. I like this water. I think this was perfect for the water, this fabric. Okay. We have our pillars now. Oh, they're so pretty. Okay, I really like how those turned out. So now we just basically do the same thing that we did with these windows. We'll sew those together, then we'll sew that together. Actually, we'll just go in this order, and then we'll sew the pieces together after. So we'll go one at a time, and we'll press, and then we'll sew all the pieces together. We'll sew this row to here and to here, and then we just have a final press, and that's that. So we might actually get done early today, you guys. I was thinking it was going to be a late one, but man, this sewed up nicer than I thought, quicker than I thought. Maybe we can take a look at my leader project. That's this one here, and see how many I did in opposite directions. Maybe I'll just leave them out and I can sew them together this weekend. All right, I'm just gonna take that off now. Okay, let's sew the second row. Then I do actually have to take this off the machine. I think just so I don't get confused, I'm going to sew row one, or like the first part to the second part, and then I'll take it off again and sew the last section on. All right, so that looks good. That's row 5. Ugh. Get in there. All right, let's get that last row on. Oh, it's so pretty. Oh, I'm so happy with this, that gold fabric. This gold and this water fabric, I think, was just right for an old Italian bridge, I think. Okay, let's press this. We'll press the seams open again. Oh, it's looking so pretty though. I love it. Ugh, yeah, this is like my most favorite iron ever. I mean, the cordlessness of it all is a game changer. So it does have a stand that it sits in, but I can just have that nearby. I could actually go across the room and press with this for, you know, a period of time, especially to do just strips like this before having to set it back in here. But I think the idea is to have the base nearby, because this is pointy on both sides, which is great because you can really get in on both sides with the point, but it also forces you, you know, to not sit it upright. So it's a reminder to just plop it back into the base to recharge it for a few seconds. But it heats up quickly like any other iron, and it lasts a long time. Like I could go several minutes without putting it back on there, and it's going to be plenty hot yet. Ugh, but I'm telling you, to not have that cord is a huge, 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 wonderful thing. And the whole thing comes in like a nice case. Like the base is part of the case, and then it has like a dome, you know, plastic cover, but it has a handle on that too, so you can just carry it. And the cord retracts into it too, which is great. Oh yeah, Jill says that, you know, the heat is lasting much longer than you thought it was. Me too. It feels like a normal iron. Like, I don't see any difference at all. Because, you know, you'd have to set an iron down while you're putzing around. So it's not like you're doing constant pressing with that. So instead of just setting it down upright, you're just setting it down in the base, which is nearby, but not in the way. And I don't have like a cord swishing through my area here. Ugh, so nice. This is so cute, these little pillars here. I think that's turning out great. All right, so I think I'm going to press it to the bottom first, or sew it to the bottom first, just because I think that'll be less flopping around. Ugh, it's cute in the water, though. Oh, I'm really liking this one. It's so funny. I'm at the falling in love stage. It usually takes a little bit, but there's always one part where all of a sudden I'm like, oh my gosh, I actually, not only do I just like it, I love it. So I should have probably flipped this around so the parts with all the seam allowances I could see, because now I gotta like, and I didn't clip it either. I got ahead of myself, but I want to make sure my seam allowances aren't flipping, or that they're staying open. But I can't really see that if I'm on this side, so that was kind of dumb. But oh well. We're there now. Not taking it off. Nothing too critical. I don't have any points to match up or anything, so that's nice. Where I would really want to see the other side. Alright, let's get our 2 liters. I'm going to have to come up with a game plan now, like, you know, the dark color is always in the bottom right or something. Now that I know that I've been screwing it up this whole time. I want to take a look at that next, because we'll have time yet, I think, for sure. We're just about done with this black. All right, let's peek. It's so cute. All right, let's flop it up on here, and this time I'll have it above, which is how I should have done it before. And I'm not going to clip again. It seems to be going decent enough without putzing with the clips. as long as I'm lined up to start and I line it up as I go along. All right. So I'm kind of grabbing all the way at the end just to make sure that the ends are staying together, not that one piece stretches more than the other. I'm just kind of holding them both together just to keep my eye on it. There we go. All right, let's throw another leader on here. And let's snip. We are done sewing. All right, let's peek. Oh, it's gonna be cute. All right, let's press. Press it one way, and then we'll press all these seams open. It's subtle for sure, because I mean the fabrics we chose all have a lot of the same colors in, so like, and specifically I mean this gold, the part that we chose to be the main bridge color has, you know, a lot of this gray color in, a lot of this dark color in, so it is kind of trying to disappear into its surroundings a little bit, the brown, but that's kind of fun too. I kind of like it, I think. All right, these are not going to stay flat, but that's fine. That's okay. All right, let's get these last few seams, get those open. I don't think we really needed to press all these seams open. I think it would have been perfectly fine if we pressed them in one direction. I think just some designers have different preferences. People do say that things quilt a little bit better if you press them open, because then you're not leaping from like one piece of fabric to like, you know, 3 pieces of fabric, like making that jump in thickness. But I don't know. I guess I'm not pro enough to have an opinion on that. My only opinion is that I feel like it takes longer to press seams open, so I think meh. But that's what the instructions were for this one, so we're doing it. All right, I'm going to give those 2 seams just a final little press, trying to keep that dang yellow from pushing shut. Ugh, and it's doing it again. So my seams are just not going to be flat on the back, or they're not going to be open all the way. But there we go. I think that is looking awesome. Let's look at it on the, let's actually give it one big press. It looks like a little bloopy in the middle there. But again, I think that's just because that gold is not laying flat. Kind of want to see how we did on size too. So these should end up being 12.5 inches or so. Well, not or so. They should end up as 12.5 inches. And then in the quilt, they'll be 12 inches when we lose that last 1/4 inch. So this is 12.5 inches, so it should be just the size of this. And it's maybe just shy of that, but again, this could get squashed a lot flatter, I think. So once we sew it with everything else, I think this is going to be a perfectly fine 12.5 inch block. So I think that turned out awfully cute. Oh, Sally says it looks like a Monet painting. Yeah, all of this, what we used for that bridge, that fabric was just really fun to play with. I don't use like such painterly fabrics like that ever, and I don't know, it'd be fun to do a whole quilt kind of out of that stuff. So that's fun. I'm just trying to think, this almost looks, I don't know if I quite like that blue there. But I do like that we have some of the repeated colors. It's almost like a reflection. Maybe this is a reflection of the water. Like this is like maybe some glass, like a window. Well, no, this is an actual bridge that exists. So I suppose I can't just make up windows. It's the Ponte Vecchio. So here it is. There's an actual picture in the design here. So there it is for real. And I think that looks pretty dang good. It's a fun design. I had fun playing with that fabric. All right, so I want to take a look at my leaders for a moment, just because I discovered that I've been maybe doing these wrong. Not wrong, but I thought like I could turn them any way and they would go together just fine, but now it seems like I do have to keep track of them. So I'm going to just try and lay these out how I want them to go. So in theory, I want them all to go, all of the darks to be in the same direction. But for some reason, I'm not sure that was working quite right. Ooh, look at these fun blocks. All right, so there's a block. We have enough to make a whole pile more blocks. Let's see. So if you don't know what this is, the leaders, you saw me using them. That's so I can get the, whatever I'm sewing, like the project that I'm sewing, I'll put a leader at the front of it, and then I can just start sewing without the long strings. And so I have, instead of just using, most people just use a piece of spare fabric and they use it again and again. That's why there's so many little stitches in here. They just use it to start and they use it to stop a leader. But instead of wasting all those nice seams, like potential seams, I've cut up a bunch of old clothing and I am sewing a light square and a dark square together to make these half square triangles. So I've already done that. So here's an example of that. I had the diagonal and I sewed on either side of the diagonal. That gives me 2 half square triangles, one on this side, one on this side. So here, I'm working right now with a stack that I've already made. I've cut them apart, I've trimmed them, I've pressed them. A lot of work actually went into these. And now I'm taking these until I run out, and then I start sewing these again. But I'm taking these and sewing them into strips. So that's kind of the project. It's like my magic project where I get to work on this. So here's an example. This one's one that went awry. But I get to work on this project while I do other projects as well. So it's happening on borrowed time, really. All right, so these darks are not going the right direction. Although that's kind of fun. Like if one would be wrong. I mean, that's awfully freaking cute, isn't it? But so this one actually, I just grabbed the squares differently. So this one, I can get it to be in the right direction, but only if I go upright. So I got a little problem there. So this is going to be the start of an upright block. I don't know how many more I did that with. Maybe just that one, who knows? Seems odd, though, that I wouldn't have done that again. Weird. So far, that's the only one. Huh. Okay, scooch you aside. Let's start another row. Oof, we're going to get so many more blocks out of these. Quilt's going to come along here. Okay, so this is a whole nother batch. How did I get just the one where I sewed it in a different direction? Actually, this next one looks like I did it in the wrong direction too. So we'll have a couple rows. I must have just been taking them off the pile in the exact same way for this whole time. Okay, yep, and then then I ran out of rows. So I got one totally the wrong way. The next one I have is going to be the wrong way as well. So I'm going to set those two aside. Funny. And now I just got to pay attention to like always start with like the dark on the lower left or something. Like that. Let's call it the heavier side down. That will help. Oh no, it won't, because then I still might sew it in this direction. I don't know how I'm going to do that. And I'm going to have to do the other rows in the other direction. I wonder if I just keep going and it'll all work itself out. Well, anyway, this is going to be cool though when it's done. So I think ultimately I want this to look as if it's just a giant mass of half square triangles. I haven't quite decided. I can show you some finished ones. So after this, I will sew them all together, and then we'll have these blocks of 25. But I would like it to be just like one big mass of half square triangles, I think. I think that would be really fun out of all of this recycled clothing. But we'll see. We'll definitely have more blocks. I think I have 10 here. So 11, 12, 13, 14. We almost have enough for 14. Gosh, I might have to lay these out at some point. We might be getting to, you know, a decent sized quilt. One where I can actually start being like, oh, I need 25 blocks total or something, you know? Or I'll just keep making them until I run out of fabric. There's that too. I don't think I'll ever run out of clothing fabric though. I got like bins of it in the basement still. So I don't know. All right, I'm going to put these all in the same direction. Maybe that will be a visual reminder for me of what direction to go in. But although now I do need those couple that go the wrong way. But it would be fun if I put maybe just the 2 rows that I'm doing wrong now. Those could just go in the wrong direction somewhere in here, just as like 2 little wrong rows. I think that would be cute. I like those like little mistakes, those little hidden mistakes. Like, can you find them where they're pointing the other direction? That would be kind of fun. So maybe I'll just leave it. I'll still kind of set it aside, but I might not look to try and do a vertical one. I might just keep it. All right, so those live in here. And then again, I just grab from this stack. And when we're done with this stack, I'll probably press these and sew them together. And then we're back to the normal game, which is just sewing our original squares together. So I start out with 3-inch squares. And by the time I sew on either side and then cut down the middle, that gives me 2. And then I trim these down to 2.5 inches. So these guys end up being 2.5 inches before I sew it into here. So that's that project. That was kind of fun to check out again. But great, I think that is that for the night. All right, so here it is. I think it is looking so cute. I think it looks nice from far away like this. I think, yeah, I'm getting that bridge sort of sensation. It's like you're seeing it. It's like you're walking up to it. You're a tourist walking towards it from a ways away, and you know the light's playing with it, the water reflecting off of the light is playing with it, and you're getting this really kind of like painterly fun effect. So I don't know, I really like it. I like how that guy turned out. So thank you so much. I'm happy that this was just an easy 2-day block, because that's what we had this week. I am not going to be here tomorrow for Thanksgiving or Friday. I'm going to take Friday off as well and hang out with John. And since we're not seeing family, we'll be doing a Zoom. We'll have a Zoom Thanksgiving though. That'll be nice at least. Yeah, and keep your eyes on your emails. I know your emails are going to be crazy bombarded with all sorts of places, and we will be part of that, so I appreciate you guys taking time to look at those, coming up those emails, and I will see you again on Monday. Have a fabulous, fabulous Thanksgiving, and yeah, I'll see you soon, guys. Have a great evening. Good night.